Welcome to Mindful Escape, the podcast that helps you find your purpose and your passion. Today we have Andrew on the show, and Andrew's passion was in health and fitness, and that's what he did in his job. He transitioned this to his own business and it became his purpose, and now he helps men transform and change their lives for the better. This is a really exciting episode, so I hope you're sitting comfortably and we'll jump straight in. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on to Mindful Escape. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're up to.
So, my name's Andrew. We've established that. I am a lifestyle coach for men and currently working with them to, let's say, improve their lifestyles, get them to a healthier, happier position, and mainly through documenting what I've done, tried and tested over the years through my experiences. And I have my own business. Prior to that, I was working for a health club and made the move to work for myself and start my own business back in 2018.
Great. So 2018, 5 years ago, was there something that happened that triggered you to make that leap, or what was going on for you at that time?
So I think the genesis for me leaving that job was I think I came to the realization that I wasn't having the impact that I wanted, and I felt a little bit constrained by the, say, corporate and company limitations and not really making that much of a change in people's lives and having the impact that I wanted and being happy and valued in what I was doing. So I felt that I could do it better, and I then quit my job there and started up my own business without knowing a thing about business and what you have to do for sales or marketing or anything at all like that. And just head out there and thought, I know I'm really good at this. What I do, this will be easy. Turns out it's not that easy when you're starting out online as an online coach. Originally, I was, operating in brick and mortar establishments, and then COVID happened, and then the whole world had to transition to online. So that was another challenge, and then that forces you to learn, well, sink or swim, I suppose. You have to find out about the marketing side of things, the sales side of things, all of that. So yes, that's what got me to start, I suppose, go out on my own.
Yeah, it's great because it sounds like what you were doing before was something that you were passionate about anyway.
Yes, I think I had, and I've always had a passion for, let's say, health and well-being from when I was younger, and my dad had health problems, so he had to have heart bypass. And as someone in your teenager and you're in your formative years, and you see that happen to one of your parents, it really shook me a little bit and thought, well, that's not good. And thankfully didn't accept that was going to happen for me. And I thought, let's try this different avenue, which is what got me started in health, and looking to optimize my lifestyle to make sure I'm as healthy and as happy, and for my kids, really, as it worked out. So yes, I think that's what got me into it, and that's the passion there sort of that might have been the motivational thing for me to start, and then other things have added to that motivation. I hate the word motivation. I really I don't I if anyone's listening to this or watching this, the one thing that I want them to take away from it, motivation is a flawed concept, and stop relying on it, stop using it. So that's my 2 cents.
Great. We'll come back onto that. I was interested to understand a little bit more about passion and purpose. So you were doing something that you were passionate about, and you mentioned before the show that you felt you had a greater purpose, which was one of the reasons that you went to start your own business and doing what you're doing. Have you found there's a difference between what you're doing now and what you were doing before in regards to fulfilling your purpose?
Yes, I do get a very high level of satisfaction from the work I do now. So previously, I just didn't feel, well, not only valued by the company that I was working for, that reflected in my pay, and but also with the people that I was helping. It was just, it didn't have the impact that the small amount of time that we had together, and the little things that we were doing weren't really paying off, and you would just see no change with the people that were using that health club. And I thought, there is a better way. If I can have a look at not just a small part of their lifestyle, exercise, or let's say diet, but if I can have a look at, take a holistic approach to this and have a look at all of their lifestyle, and what's causing stress, how that's affecting their sleep, how that's affecting diet, and just tackle it. So over time, I've become more qualified and more focused on let's say the stress and the psychology behind this, behavior change, rather than just going do this. It's finding, it's getting people to implement ways. But yeah, it's I've known people that have gone into business themselves and they haven't had that passion and that interest, and it's just to make money or what have you. And some of them aren't very happy. They're making money, but they're not very happy. And some of them haven't got a business anymore, and they've gone back to what they were doing before because it's just, they've stopped because there's nothing keeping them going. There's not like a deep-rooted intrinsic motivator, not motivator, but drive to keep them going.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because someone might say, okay, they don't want to do what they're currently doing because whatever reason, and then start a business purely based on generating an income.
Mm.
But essentially, they're going to be doing the same as what they were doing before because it was all about the money, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You need that, that, I think that's the word. It's like a passion, or I like to have like a why. What if you dig down enough, like keep digging, ask yourself like why. If you get down, you'll find a reason why it's important to you. If you haven't, it's probably not the right thing to do. It's like January the 1st when everyone decides to address their health, and you ask them why, and they're like, well, it's New Year's resolution. I'm like, okay, well, that's not emotive enough. A date is not emotive enough just because you think you should, or just, a large amount of society do this and you're just following suit. Like, you're going to last till maybe not even February. And there needs to be the same with the business side of things. There needs to be something like why, a deep, you don't need to motivate yourself because you've got that underlying why. And for me, it's my kids and setting a good example for them, which, let's say, with regards to my sort of dad's health and that side of things, I didn't really get that. So I was very much conscious. I'm very conscious that I need to set the example for them with what I'm doing with my life, business, health, etc. So that's what drives me. But yeah, if you haven't got that why with your business, you're spot on with what you've said. You're just doing what you were doing before for money, and you're not enjoying it. You just like you've moved from this place, now to working what you were working 9 to 5 to now working for yourself for 24/7, but you're still in the same, like, okay, all right, you might be earning a little bit more money, but when you buy that new house or upgrade your lifestyle, the misery is still going to be there. It's not you've got your flash car and you're still driving it to a job you hate. So yeah, this it's maddening, right?
Absolutely. So, just jumping back a little bit, so you had found something you were passionate about, which is amazing, and then creating your own business gave you that purpose to have a bigger impact. You mentioned about the sales and marketing of starting your own business obviously being a challenge. Were there other challenges there that arose for you, maybe around finances or having a family or coming away from the stability? What were your biggest challenges at that stage?
This might sound a little bit out there, but me listening to this like a few years back would have been maybe I would have switched off. But I think this has really been a about like a personal journey for me, like me improving as a human being, and that then changing myself has changed my situation with my work, and that's very I'm a big advocate of discomfort and challenging yourself, because I think I make the quote that misery is the prize for avoiding discomfort. And when you're not doing these things that you need to do for yourself, and you're not being honest and you don't have integrity with yourself, then everything gets hard and you start blaming other people and your circumstances. But once you take responsibility and you start to work on yourself a little bit more and do address those things and embrace discomfort and go, okay, well, yeah, this is not the most comfortable, but I know I need to do this to progress. And I know that I'm going to, this is a hindsight I'm talking about here. I would love to have heard this, like me tell myself this 5, 6 years ago. But yeah, that discomfort that you're avoiding doing this, changing personally, has then permeated and affected my business. I'm more it's gone from me blaming to taking responsibility and just going, you know what, I'm not on top of it with my emails or messaging. And yeah, I'm just avoiding doing that because it's uncomfortable. And that has sort of then become my thing with regards to discipline. So my online program is called The Discipline Man, because motivation is one thing, that's doing it when you feel like it, and discipline is doing it when you don't. So I read a lot of stuff. In particular, I've got a penchant for philosophy, and I think these books are great because they've stood the test of time. So I'm like, okay, well, they had something there, and I just sort of developed my own thing. And yeah, I realize I've gone off a tangent here, but
No, it's okay.
my point being is that yes, it's a passion, but there's still going to be parts of the job that you don't enjoy doing, and it's just coming to terms with that, and you improving yourself will only be reflected in your business. You can't. A friend tell me this. He said that your business can't outgrow you. And I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So for me, personal development and self-improvement has been the crux of it, and changing yourself to change your situation, which is, what I work with guys to do, and yeah, improve their lifestyle.
Yeah, it's really great and such an honest answer because, as you say, you yourself 5, 6 years ago, giving yourself that advice, maybe you wouldn't have taken it on board.
Yeah, it's taken a lot for me to get that, and just because you concentrate on this, and you just like, how can it be like an internal thing? How can it be me? It's and you just over time you're like, I was an idiot. I was just didn't want to hear it, and the ego was strong, and then over time you come to appreciate the obstacle. I think there's a book. The obstacle is the way, and the hard stuff is what actually levels you up and gets there. And I was so not doing this, that, and the other because of authenticity and fear of pushback that I became very vanilla. And you have to just accept that people aren't going to like you because whatever reason they'll find something. If they don't agree with you, they will. That's it. You're yeah you're going to get it. But then there's the same people that resonate with you. So for me, you've got to have that authenticity, and that's come through later on through the years. You go, well, this is me. I understand I'm not here to be liked by everyone. If I am, I'm not doing something right, and I'm never going to get business because of it, because I'm just like falling into this vanilla, let's say, take it or leave it thing. Whereas if you become more authentic with what you're putting out, and you like what you're putting out, there's going to be people that resonate with it, and you're just going to get, and they're going to go, do you know what? Yeah, I feel that way too. And then you're still going to get the idiots. I say idiots, those that oppose it, and just like, oh, this is wrong. And you're like, great, this is the sweet spot. I used to think that I used to let that affect me and go, okay, I'm upsetting some people here. And then you just, over time, you just realize, no, that's the sweet spot. When you've got people loving what you do and then hating what you do, that's the sweet spot. That's where you can feel authentic, and you don't have to hide what you're, saying or feelings or about a particular subject, and just go, like, I think this, and, be resolute with what you're putting out, and just go, no, this, and I know this because I've done this and researched this, and obviously there's got to be some evidence and proof behind your logic, and it's not anecdotal. But yeah, I think that would be the message to myself: like, find that authenticity faster, accept the fact that not everyone's going to like it. In fact, there's going to be people that vehemently oppose it. So be prepared for that when you're starting out. But the sooner you can get to that, the better for your business. And when you try and talk to everyone, you're talking to no one.
Yeah. There was something that has been a huge lesson for me, and it's just being my true, unique self, realizing that I don't need to fit in to a certain way. And I think before, in my corporate lifestyle, it's like, okay, I need to do things a certain way so people
Yeah,
like me and people buy into me and
yeah,
etc. And then stepping away from society and living a different way of living, it's like, well, actually, coming back to that authenticity piece, if you are your true, unique self, then you'll be happier in what you're doing, and people will
yeah,
accept you more for what you're doing. And as you say,
yeah.
there's always going to be people that don't like or love what you're doing, but
And that's fine. And a story on that is when I started off and going, I need to be okay with this. Is I was actually doing corporate work. I had a contract with a company. I won't say the company's name, um, but people would come in and see me, and I'd do consultations with them. And the company they contracted me out for a few hours a week. I'd come in, they'd give me my day's bookings, and I'd have my consultation. It was fantastic. I also had a sign up sheet for my emails and my personal emails. And some people would sign up from their work emails at the company. Now, it's not, I've got over time, my opinions become sort of stronger, and I've become fine with people not sharing the same opinion. But I remember I used a particular no, it was actually an expletive. I don't know what swear word I used in my email, and it was not out of context. It was just not like used to for swearing's sake. It was actually just passion sort of coming through. And one person actually took offense to this and then contacted the people that hired me from the company and said, look, this is Andrew's latest email and he's swearing in it. And I was thinking they actually pulled me up on it and they said, look, could you do this with your emails and could you just tailor it to, and I was like, no, you don't understand. This person has chose to, write their name on my sign up. Like, come on to the internet, sign up, and then from their work email, and then they've taken offense to what I'm saying. Everything, it's just like, oh, so personal. Like it's not for you, but he's chosen to take offense. And the company actually had a word with me. I remember having a meeting with the HR lady, and she said, would you mind just adjusting your emails ever so slightly? And I was like, huh? I don't understand. This is my email. These are my thoughts. These are my beliefs. And it was like censorship. I said, these people don't have to sign up, and they were asking, and I lost the contract over it because I wouldn't change my emails or they wanted to sort of sense what I was saying or how I was saying it, and people were getting offended. Well, couple of people, but at the same time, I also had people that loved it as well. So that was a realization for me, and I was like, okay, this is the like rite of passage, and for me to stay authentic, I've got to all right take the hit financially, by losing one, but at the same time, another option came up, and yeah, I think the me of a few years ago would have probably capitulated and said, "Okay, yeah, all right, I'll tone it down. I'll corporate speak." And yeah, but yeah, that was one of my tests, I suppose, on my journey to authenticity with myself and business. But there we go.
And great for you for sticking with it.
I know. Right. So yeah, but it is that journey of authenticity. And when I started out, I had a pseudonym and I was focused on the wrong things and, like the website and all of this. And you just think, oh, okay, God, I wish someone had told me all this like years ago, what I'm doing now, and just gone, right, go back in your DeLorean 6 years ago and just go, actually, just do this, this, and this, and be really good at this and be your true self. Because I had a pseudonym, a company name, and I was hiding behind that because I didn't want to, be, I didn't want to have the accountability, or, the people would not direct their contempt to me. It'd be like I could hide behind a business, and I was like, no, you need to actually take some of this on the chin. If one, not that I was putting anything, it was just me being authentic and being okay with people not being okay with that. I think it's very much a test of your authenticity, and you sort of, it will strengthen it if you approach it the right way and you believe what you're doing is the right thing, and be strong with that. But just, yeah, if anyone's listening, you will get some pushback, and that's not a bad thing. That means you're in that sweet spot. If you've got people, if you're going out of way to just offend people, you're not really helping anyone, then yeah, you'll get you'll get it. But at the same time, if you're getting people that really love what you're doing and then hate what you're doing, that's I've realized that's the sweet spot. That's where you want to be.
I think owning what you're doing, right, and being your true self. So on that transition point, as you started your business, obviously you mentioned there was a few things that you would love to have known 5, 6 years ago. Were there any major lessons that you learned aside from the ones that you've kind of mentioned already?
Get help soon. You're That probably cost me a lot of time not getting help sooner with different things and just going, right, okay, focusing too much on the money. At the start, you take on clients because you need them, and then you realize you're hating working with them and you're just doing it for the money. But then over time, you get to a position where you can be a little bit more choosy, and it's never worth it. Like that gut feeling that this isn't going to be a good person to work with, but you're taking them on for the money. And it's just having that integrity and authenticity to resist, which is hard, to resist the money and just go, I'm going to be miserable. This is going to be miserable working with this person. And just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Just hold out. Like, if I, again, this advice to myself previous, just say no to that person or recommend them someone else, well, that you don't like, and then just say, yeah, no thank you, and have that resolve and that integrity to just go, it's worth more. My happiness and my fulfillment that I'm getting from my job is worth more than a few pounds, and I can make that money back. But yeah, get help, save yourself time. Time is the real thing. Money, you can always earn more money, but if you can save yourself time, that's fantastic. So outsource as much as you can. Get help with people that are steps ahead of you to expedite the process. In the end, you'll make more money and you'll save more money. So that would be another bit of advice. What else? I'm sure something will come to me, but yeah, for now, that was on the forefront. Those are the most glaringly obvious mistakes that I made.
Yeah.
But and not working on yourself, and just you're if you're not improving yourself, your business won't go anywhere. If you're just if you're not doing that work on yourself, you're going to go stagnant, and your business is going to decline, and then that will bring other stress in. And I've been there, getting to a point where things aren't working, and you've become the person that you're trying to help, and you're just going, oh, this is terrible, and relationships are strained, and you're stressed out your mind, you're not enjoying it, and you're blaming. So yeah, making sure that you're doing everything to stay on top of your health first. Put yourself, like your mental and your physical health first, no exceptions, and keep improving on that. And you can't go wrong, really. But it sounds, for me, something that my 5-6 year old self couldn't comprehend or get. But I was like, get help with this, get coaching with this, and that was the big thing. Someone to keep me accountable, or give me advice because they were steps ahead of me, and just expedite the process. Really save yourself time.
So there's quite a few lessons there, and one that I'd like to touch on to finish up is around motivation and discipline, because I know you're very passionate about this. So
Yeah.
on the move, let's say right at the beginning stages of starting your business, talk to me a little bit about, I'm going to say, staying motivated or staying disciplined, and what your views are on that.
So at the start, it's this like honeymoon period where it's pedal to the metal, and you are go go go. You're starting off, you're motivated, you know exactly what all right, okay, you get the first few clients through, and you're like, oh, this is easy, this is blush, this is, yeah, I've got it, I've nailed this, and you're at the top of Mount Stupid. Have you seen the Dunning-Kruger graph? Okay, have a look at that. If anyone's listening to this, I'm sure they are. But yeah, have a look at the Dunning-Kruger graph. Your confidence is so high, and then all of a sudden stuff stops working and it just drops, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? It's a very miserable place, because your confidence drops, but your competence, over time, if you're consistent with it, your competence will improve, but your confidence takes a massive drop. And yeah, that was just the day-to-day of working. You got to come to terms with the difference between motivation and discipline. Like I've said to you, motivation is doing it when you feel like it. Discipline is doing it when you don't. And for me, I'm very much an advocate of the latter. Discipline is what will help you with everything. And motivation is just a feeling. It will pass. If you tie your actions to it, you're not going to get anywhere, because you will seldom do what you need to be doing. Just embrace the discomfort of going, oh, I don't feel like doing this today, like part of my job, or yeah, all right, okay, there's some stuff to be doing today that I don't really feel like doing. So I do a lot of research and reading on human beings, and I know that we're creatures of habit. So I'm very much one who plays into that, and I'm like, okay, what I do with my clients is like, let's play on that. Let's use that to our advantage. Let's create a routine, because no one else is going to come and do this for you. So you need to you need to organize your time. And I have, I live by my routine, and that's what ensures me, I'm not doing it based on motivation. I'm doing it based on what my calendar tells me. This you booked in today. I'm like, okay, I've got a podcast at 1:00 with Leighton, and I do it. And some of the things I'm enjoying doing this, don't get me wrong, but some of the things I don't feel like doing. Like it might be my run at 6:30 this morning, and for me, I've got to a point where I'm now actively seeking discomfort and just doing it regardless of how you feel about it, and knowing that for the majority of time you will not feel like doing the majority of the stuff. And that, if you can see that as a test for yourself, you'll be fine, because through doing this discomfort and getting out of your comfort zone, that's where you're making progress for yourself, and then ultimately your business. So doing things daily that are uncomfortable. So I have, and this is what I work on with the guys that I work with, I have in my day habits of discomfort, and they'll include things like run first thing in the morning. I hate running. I don't hate running. I just don't enjoy doing it in the cold, or like having to get out of bed to do it. But I enjoy self-control aspect of my brain and everything telling me to stay in bed and hit the snooze alarm, and me going, actually, no, I'm stronger than that. I'm going to get up and do it. And then a cold shower afterwards. I hate the cold, and it's the worst part of my day, and it's the best part of my day. And I know I'm going to feel incredible for doing it, but still, when I flip that shower switch over to freezing cold water, and my brain is telling me to get out, and my face is hurting, and my hands are sort of cold, and it's telling me to get out, and you're fighting against that, I know it's good for you, because you're increasing top-down control. You're raising dopamine levels. And I get out and I'm laughing, and my wife's just looking at me like I'm some sort of lunatic. But at the same time, embracing that discomfort with that exercise later on in the day, it's 3:30. I don't feel like lifting weights, but I do it because I'm going to get that same positive effect afterwards, and it's going to strengthen my body over time. Going to bed, I have a routine for my bedtime, and also journaling in before I go to bed, writing about what I could have done, how I could have been better today, gratitude stuff. I don't want to do that sometimes. It's just knowing that it's okay to feel that you don't want to do this stuff, but doing it regardless is what will help you. progress, improve, grow, however you want to coin it. But so I would say to anyone on this path, just be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's corny, isn't it? But at the same time, seeking discomfort and knowing that motivation is futile because it's here and then it's gone. But if you're disciplined and if you keep on, sort of keep on seeking those tests and that discomfort and just going, okay, yeah, this is discomfort and this is uncomfortable and I have to have this uncomfortable conversation with people, but doing this stuff, you'll be better off for it. You'll improve. And like I said, your business will be improved because you're improving.
Yeah. And I think one of the things I like about having that discipline and actually achieving something is getting through that difficult or uncomfortable thing, run or the shower or whatever it is. You get through that and you think, well, if I can do that, then I can do anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, massively. Because you just you're thinking, well, the rest of my day's easy because I've put myself through physical hell this morning, and yes, or my dopamine levels are increasing for several hours post, and I'm feeling great now, and I'm starting my work, and this email list is nothing compared to that. I think there's a book called Eat That Frog. Do the discomfort, the uncomfortable things at the start of your day, and then the rest of the day you're sort of freewheeling. And big fan of being, facing and that discomfort, because most people, they're miserable because they're avoiding that discomfort. They're not getting to where they want to be, or they're not progressing in life because it just comes down to them avoiding that discomfort. And they'll moan and bitch and say, oh, there's this, that, and the other, and the universe is against me. I'm just like, well, all right, what are you not doing? And they're like, well, if they're really honest, they'll say, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. And you're like, why? And they're like, well, it's a bit daunting, it's a bit uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to get past that and get over not get over yourself. Fear is like a genuine thing that will hold people back. And I'm just like, once you've done it and you've embraced that discomfort and you know that you don't have to be motivated and you don't have to feel like doing it and actively seek out discomfort, it's a different world. I wish, just talking about this stuff with you, if I could only just go back, it's great because you have to go through all this stuff, but who knows where it'd be if I knew this stuff 5-6 years. Well, I'd be 5-6 years ahead of where I'd be, where I am 5-6 years time. So embrace that discomfort.
It's not always the same though, is it? Like when someone tells you, you don't always take it on board. Sometimes you do have to experience it yourself and go through that discomfort.
Yes. I think, for the majority of people, there has to be a point where it gets too uncomfortable and there's that much pain. That's when they make a change. Because it's like the frog in the saucepan of water analogy. If you're all the time that frog's in there, all right, the water's tepid, it's comfortable, and it's getting a little bit warmer, maybe, but it doesn't notice it's being boiled to death. And then only when the water starts sort of boiling, you're like, oh dear, now it's trouble. I'm in a lot of trouble here. I need to, then he starts to make efforts to get out, and it might be too late by then, poor frog. But at the same time, it is, getting to that point of discomfort, that physical and mental anguish and pain that you can't put up. And when that hits, you're just like, okay, now it's time to change. But I think it's a shame because you want people to get there before that. These instances and these situations where there is a serious health implication, or that it's a shame that it takes some people to get to that point, to that level, before they consider this. And I'm thinking, well, that's either a very sort of defiant or stubborn person or a strong threshold for pain. But it's, you're right, for some people it just will take that, that amount of pain to go, actually, I need to make a change here.
Andrew, thank you so much for coming on.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Where can people find you online?
Well, if you're searching on social media, you can go to Andrew Shaw BSc on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't tweet that much. Maybe I should tweet a little bit more. But my main, you'll get the best from me on Facebook and Instagram. I think that you'll get the full experience there. And then if you want to see me talking to people in the industry about health and well-being and lifestyle, you can go on to YouTube and see me speaking to some people who are very good at what they do in their field. And that's Andrew Shaw as well. Where else can you find me? That's it. I think that's it. I've got a TikTok account, but that's really down to whether my teenager sort of has posted stuff, because I don't know about that. So she has to sort of show me. So yeah, the full experience, Facebook and Instagram.
And TikTok coming soon.
TikTok coming soon. Yeah. Teenager mood dependent if she can post something for me. So yeah.
And there we have it. Thank you so much for listening. The biggest takeaway for me was around getting out of your own way. Sometimes in life, there's just things that we don't want to do. We make up excuses or reasons why we're not doing them. But ultimately, it comes down to us. So if you feel like there might be something that you should be doing, then maybe you actually need to do it and figure out what is holding you back. It could be fear, it could be uncertainty, but whatever it is, get out of your own way and make it happen. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with a friend so they can also get value from it. And we'll see you again, same time next week.